Welcome to Conflict News 24. We present daily updates on global conflicts for you. Firstly, EU, US, Qatar and Iran are in talks, and in coming days reportedly JCPOA could be revived. JCPOA is Iran, EU, Iran, US nuclear deal which was signed in 2015, but Trump government withdrew from this deal. Iran came under sanctions. The deal was agreed in 2015 to limit Iran's nuclear activities, to stop Iran from building nuclear bomb. And now talks are underway once again to revive this deal. What is this deal about? Why did Trump government withdraw from this deal in 2018, I think? And if the deal is signed, will Iran stop conducting nuclear enrichment activities? Which are the limitations which could be imposed on Iran if this deal is signed? What will Iran get in return for signing this deal? Secondly, viewers, today Russian Defense Minister and President Putin spoke. They lashed out at Western countries. They said the unipolar world has come to an end with this ongoing Russian military operation. They call it military operation. With this ongoing military operation, Russian operation in Ukraine, now unipolar world has come to an end. The two spoke about Western support for Ukraine. How are Western countries supporting Ukraine? What are Russian objectives in this mission? Will Russia use nuclear option? Will it drop a bomb, nuclear bomb on Ukraine to achieve its objectives? Both of them spoke on several important points. We'll have a look at what they said. And lastly, viewers, it is becoming a problem for Russian forces now to secure their back. In some previous videos, we discussed that Russian supply lines are under target. Ukraine is hitting the supply lines like bridges, roads, railway bridges. They are being targeted. And we discussed that supply lines for Russian troops in Kherson city are under attack. Now, a few hours ago, several explosions and blasts were reported in Crimea. This is the third time that reportedly Ukraine has attacked Crimea, though Russia has not acknowledged that what happened in Crimea today was a result of Ukraine's attack. What happened there, where reportedly Russian ammunition depot was attacked, several explosions were heard. We have details for you on the map. Main problem for Russians is how to secure the supply lines. And somehow Ukrainians are managing to hit Russian supply lines very precisely. With which weapons are they doing it? I mean, are Ukrainians in possession of long-range, precise missiles? Because the strikes being carried out are more than 100 kilometers away from a battlefront, from front line. We'll have a detailed look at this development on a map. Firstly, US, EU, Qatar, Iran are in talks. For the last 18 months, they have been in talks. They want to revive JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. JCPOA was an agreement signed in 2015 with Iran on one side and EU countries, 5 permanent members of UN Security Council, US and Germany on the other side. The deal was signed to stop Iran from making the nuclear bomb. And it was decided, it was agreed that Iran would limit its uranium enrichment activities. Iran was allowed to enrich uranium up to just 3.67% enrichment. Iran was allowed to have a stockpile of enriched uranium not exceeding 300 kilograms. And it was agreed that Iran would not install new first generation centrifuges. And several other points were agreed by the parties to stop Iran from building the bomb. In return, sanctions were lifted, which were imposed earlier on Iran, and $100 billion, Iran's $100 billion were unfrozen. Iran's oil and gas income, which was with some foreign banks, EU, US banks. This $100 billion amount was to be given to Iran gradually. The deal was signed. Iran agreed to it. Iran was under economic pressure. So in 2015, Iran had to agree to this deal. And we know that entire Middle East is against Iran's nuclear ambitions, especially Israel. Muslim countries too, UAE, Saudi Arabia, they are against Iran's building the bomb. So all want Iran to stop nuclear enrichment beyond what is required for peaceful purposes. Though we don't know if there are any such restrictions on Israel. Some say Israel has a nuclear bomb. It has made a bomb. Did the world impose such restrictions on Israel? I don't think there is any such deal which has been signed in the past. So in 2014, the deal was signed, but in 2017, Trump came to power, Donald Trump. The deal was signed by Democrats, by Barack Obama, I think. When Trump came to power, he unilaterally withdrew from this deal. US withdrew. US said Iran was violating the conditions of this deal. And after that, Trump government imposed very severe sanctions on Iranian government. Iranian banks were cut off from SWIFT. Under FATF, sanctions were imposed. Iranian military was put under sanctions. Its airline, its all sectors of Iranian economy were sanctioned by EU, US. Crippling sanctions. Iran, its oil revenue dropped. Its exports dropped. Inflation rose. Iran's currency, Riyal, lost its value. But somehow Iran managed to survive with some Chinese and Russian support. Meanwhile, talks were held. After Trump was removed, Democrats are back in power in US. We know that Joe Biden is a Democrat. And after Joe Biden government was sworn in last year, new negotiations started for the revival of this deal. Now, it is being said that in coming days, a new deal could be signed. If the deal is signed, it means that Iran will stop its nuclear activities beyond peaceful purposes. And its economy, which is under sanctions, will receive some relief. Sanctions will be lifted, and the frozen $100 billion will be unfrozen. Iran will start receiving this amount. Can JCPOA stop Iran from building the bomb? It is being said generally that JCPOA can slow down Iran's advance towards building the bomb. Iran has capability to enrich uranium beyond 20%, 30% threshold. And when countries start enriching uranium and they want to build a bomb, they need uranium enriched up to around 95%. For peaceful purposes, you need enriched uranium around 3.67%, like the uranium which is used in power reactors which produce power. For some research activities, uranium enrichment is at around 3%, 2%. But if you want to build the bomb, you need to enrich more. And Iran crossed 20% threshold several years ago. I had some videos I remember in 2019, I think. Back then, Iran had crossed 20% mark. So it means that Iran can build the bomb, but the process, the journey to build the bomb will be slowed down if JCPOA comes into picture, if it is agreed. Let's see, will the deal be signed or not? That remains to be seen. Talks are underway and some progress has been made. Secondly, was Russian Defense Minister and President Putin spoke today. They said Russian military operation in Ukraine means an end to unipolar world. Western countries have lost their hegemony on international security, international politics. They cannot call the shots now. More and more countries are rebelling against this hegemonic unipolar world. The two said that Russia would not use nuclear option in Ukraine because it wasn't required militarily. Russia will achieve its objectives without using nuclear option. Secondly, they said West is backing Ukraine. Financial assistance, arms, reconnaissance help are being given to Ukraine. Ukrainian military operations are being planned in Washington, in London. But the myth that West US had super weapons has been exposed. The super weapons which are being given to Ukraine they have not brought about any significant change in the battlefield. These are all claims of the two Russian leaders. Thirdly, they said that the operation being conducted by Russia in Ukraine is because Russia wants to ensure the security of Russia, of the country, and of its people, and it wants to save the people of Donbass from a genocide. And Russia said this operation is in accordance with UN Charter. Very interesting. They criticized AUKUS, AUKUS. AUKUS was signed last year in September. There are three members of AUKUS: Australia, UK and US. Under this deal, nuclear submarines will be deployed to Australia. Australia is not a nuclear state, but nuclear submarines will be deployed there. China opposed it. We know that China and Australia are very staunch rivals. And Australia accuses China of maritime expansion in the Pacific Ocean, in the Indian Ocean as well. US also accuses China. And Australia is the key ally of the US. That is why US, UK, which are nuclear countries, they'll deploy their nuclear submarines to a non-nuclear country. This move was opposed by Russia, China. They said it was nuclear proliferation, that the two countries were spreading nuclear technology to non-nuclear countries. So on one hand, the world is trying to stop Iran from building nuclear bomb. On the other hand, US, UK are deploying nuclear submarines to Australia. It means that Australia can study these nuclear submarines and can build its own nuclear submarines. So there are double standards in international politics. The two criticized AU, KUS, AUKUS, and they summed up by saying that Russian operation in Ukraine was going as planned, and Russia would achieve its objectives easily. In the next video, we will try to analyze the situation. What is happening on the ground? Can Russia achieve its objectives? What were real Russian objectives in Ukraine? I am getting in the groove when it comes to covering this conflict because there was a break of a few weeks regarding the coverage of this conflict. Now gradually we are learning. So in coming days, hopefully we'll try to analyze this conflict. In which direction is it going? Is it going to end? How will it end? Just give me a few days, then gradually I'll be able to speak in detail on the future of this conflict. Now, lastly, viewers, we have details for you from the ground. Russians are facing some problems on their back. Their supply lines are being targeted. Crimea was once again targeted today, though Russia has not confirmed that it was attacked from Ukraine side. It said it was an act of sabotage. Have a look at this map. You can see Ukraine on this map, Black Sea. This is Crimea. We know that last week a Russian military base in Crimea was hit, Saki military base. Russia said that Russia did not acknowledge that Ukraine hit this base, but several Russian planes were destroyed in that incident. That attack on Crimea was in western part. Here you can see Saki. This was the place which was hit a few days ago, reportedly by Ukrainians. Somehow they managed to reach here from here. Mykolaiv, from here, they managed to fire some missiles and they attacked Saki, or the attack could have been carried out by a drone. But near Saki, this Russian military base was attacked and Russia suffered losses. What happened today is more alarming. Today's attacks were in eastern and northern parts of Crimea. You can see Dzhankoy here. Near Dzhankoy is another Russian military base. And today several explosions, blasts were seen, were reported, several videos, pictures are being shared showing that this military base, Russian military base, came under attack near Dzhankoy today. And Russia has confirmed in a statement that there was an act of sabotage which led to losses at ammunition depot. A power plant was damaged, power lines were damaged, several civilian facilities were damaged. It has been confirmed all by Russians themselves. Now, Russia is not saying that attack was carried out by Ukrainian forces. Ukraine is not claiming as well that it carried out a missile strike or a drone strike, but it is being said that the attack was carried out by Ukraine. There are three possibilities. Either it was a sabotage, someone from near Dzhankoy, some pro-Ukrainian elements, they managed to reach here and they attacked it. Or it was incompetence, that it was, since it is an ammunition depot, some safety guidelines were not followed and that is why this incident happened. Or third possibility is a Ukrainian attack on a base near Dzhankoy. Question is, if it was a Ukrainian activity, how did Ukraine attack this place? So once again, either Ukraine fired some long-range missile somewhere from here and managed to reach Dzhankoy here, or from here, from Kherson side. But if missiles were fired, how did they manage to reach here? I mean, there must be deployment of Russian air defense systems here on Crimea. S-400 must be deployed here. They are deployed here. So how did missiles reach here? Or there could be possibility of some drone strike. Some drones, they managed to breach Russian airspace, Crimea's airspace, and they attacked Dzhankoy. Several sources are confirming that Russia suffered losses in this attack near Dzhankoy today. Secondly, this is Simferopol, which is capital of Crimea. To the north of Simferopol is this place, Havardinsk. Here also some explosions were reported, though not very significant damage was seen here. Thirdly, a railway bridge which links Melitopol with Melitopol with Crimea was damaged as well near Dzhankoy. So three attacks you can say: one near Dzhankoy on ammunition depots, power plants and others. Secondly, railway line damaged. And thirdly, attack near Simferopol. So that is what we have been saying, that Russians are advancing, trying to advance, but their supply lines, their back is insecure. Somehow, Ukrainians are managing to hit Russians behind front lines. They are hitting Russians 200 kilometers away in southern directions from the front lines. How is Ukraine able to reach Crimea, to attack military facilities here? It's a very important question. And if Crimea is attacked, it means that these areas where Russians are deployed, their forces are deployed, they will not be able to receive reinforcements from here, from Crimea. So supply lines, Russian supply lines are under stress, it seems, though still other routes available. You can see that Russia's Belgorod, other regions share border with Ukraine. Not a big deal, but people in Crimea are suffering, and reportedly thousands have fled Crimea. They have fled into Russia in recent days. Secondly, we received more confirmation today about Soledar, close to Bakhmut. Bakhmut is still contested, but reportedly Soledar is the place where now, this is Soledar, viewers, close to Bakhmut. Today, some Russian news outlets shared pictures and videos showing the presence of Russian military at Kanauf plant. Kanauf plant is in Soledar, in eastern part of Soledar, and Russian military has been seen here in Soledar. So entire Soledar might not be under Russian control, but Russian military is in Soledar. It has now been confirmed. Russian advance in Donetsk is ongoing, but Russian supply lines are in danger. They are being hit by Ukrainian forces. Thanks for watching.